Davis steps under center. Gibson and McClendon behind him. Davis with motion by Richard. Will give the ball to McClendon. He leaps. Oh, he doesn't get in. He fumbled the football. Carolina holds. The game is over. And Carolina has won the game.
Finley to throw. Over the middle, intercepted. Wolford again. Wolford the other way at the 30, the 40. Wolford to midfield. Miles Wolford with the pick. The heels on the doorstep of an enormous victory.
Left side of the line. Hood standing to Williams' right. Williams going to throw. One-on-one. Davis has it. Touchdown. Carolina wins. Carolina is the Coastal Division champion. Bernard fields it at the 26. Heading to the far side. Gio at the 35. Gio is at the 50. No, he's not. Yes, he is. Gio is going to take it for a touchdown. Are you kidding me? Connor Barth for the possible win. Snap, spot, kick away, high enough, long enough. It's good! It's good! Carolina has won the game on a 42-yard field goal by freshman Connor Barth. Good gosh, dirty.
This is the Heel Tough Blog Podcast.
Hey guys, and welcome in to this edition of the Heel Tough Blog Podcast. It's Anthony Pagnotta, your host, with you as always, and the Tar Heels are officially in spring practice, and it is an extremely exciting time of year, especially with the fact that this 2021 team has some lofty expectations. So we welcome in Quierra Luck from Tar Heel Maven. She's here to give us a little bit more insight than I can. Quierra, first of all, how you doing? I know it's definitely been a crazy last year, believe it or not. Just around this time a year ago was when we jumped into this thing. It looks like we're starting to see some of the light at the end of the tunnel, but how is everybody holding up in your family and around you?
Thank you for asking. Everyone is doing well, as expected. We're ready to get out of this pandemic, and we're ready to get back to some type of normalcy. So we're just out here taking it day by day, doing our part and wearing our masks and washing our hands and social distancing so that, just one little thing can help change the world. So if everyone does their part, we can get back to being a happy-go-lucky selves and enjoying outside again.
Yeah, we're hoping that that is sooner rather than later for sure. I definitely want to be able to attend some of these Tar Heel football games this season because this 2021 team is about as exciting as a Tar Heel team that we've seen in recent memory, probably dating back to the first time that Mac Brown was on campus. Just from hearing from the head coach after the first day of practice, some of the players as well, do you think that they share in the excitement that the fans have heading into this 2021 season?
Absolutely, if not more so. Coach Brown, every press conference, it seems like the last couple of years, has just been getting more exciting in each one. He truly loves this program. He loves the school. He definitely loves his players. This past year, has definitely been eye-opening as a coach with social issues being brought to the forefront and making sure he's backing his players and making sure that they're comfortable in the program and that their voices are heard. So I think with the level of trust continuing to grow in that program and former players coming back and contributing, it's an understatement to say that they're excited.
Well, they should be excited because they're led by what looks like it could be another great offense, and that is head man by a guy that is in the Heisman Trophy race to start the season, a guy that a lot of people think could be the first quarterback off the board in the 2022 draft class. We heard from Sam Howell after that first day of practice. What did you think about his confidence level going into the season and how he's handling some of those expectations out of the gate?
I think he's doing incredibly well. I don't think he's buying into them, and I think that's something that everybody wants to see from their star player. Someone who's cool, calm, and collected, and who's just really happy to be in the program, really happy to be back with his teammates, back practicing, back getting some type of normalcy within that football program, because last year they didn't get the opportunity to really have a spring practice and a spring ball game. So being able to get back into the swing of things and seeing his friends and his family, his football family, and he just looks really good. He looks happy, he looks joyful, and he said that he started picking up golf during the off season and that he really enjoyed it. So when you see a football player who's really just out here enjoying himself, like, you really have to appreciate that, because you don't want someone who's going into a season nervous and jittery. You just want someone who truly loves the game at the reins, and I think that's what North Carolina has with Sam Howell.
Yeah, well, nerves and jitters don't seem to be a part of Sam Howell at all, although I did see that he did say that he is terrible at golf, Sam. I am as well. I share in that. When you look to the defensive side of the football, this seems to be a unit that is heading in the right direction under defensive coordinator Jay Bateman. What do you think the next step is? And then was that something that Matt Brown touched on in his press conference after the first day?
Definitely, and I think there's a lot of competition within the defense. Today, actually, we saw a lot of defensive players, and the one person that definitely stood out to, I think, a lot of people, especially last year, his incoming season, was Tony Grimes. And seeing just what one threat, or I guess it's sophomore this year, just seeing one newcomer who's super excited and ready for the competition and ready to get to work and ready to dive in head first. Tony Grimes is not afraid of the competition. He's not afraid of challenges, and he's not afraid to learn. The one thing that I've definitely seen with this defense is that they lean on each other. They ask questions. They look to the older players to provide some sort of guidance, and the older players are more than happy to provide that. So you're definitely seeing a lot of stability growing with this team, and I think the defense will be a lot more solid this season, and definitely ready to compete at a high level.
Well, I think one of the big things that will help that is the fact that Carolina is going to be able to rotate probably a little more out of the gate. It seems like the mindset around the team is that having this spring is going to be huge for this team, especially after what we saw from the guys a year ago. Does that seem to be, your thinking as well with this team, that if they can develop that depth, they could become one of those top units in the ACC when it comes to the defensive side of the football?
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the things that Coach Brown actually, spoke about last season, is, being short in some places and, wanting to be able to, give guys those rests and be able to have depth so that they can compete at a high level. And I think with having more time to practice, having more time to get some camaraderie, and having more time to actually develop as a team is super important. There's no rush this year, if that makes sense. Like last year, we were battling something that was unprecedented, a disease that we didn't know how to handle it, and everything was canceled. But this year, with so many more seniors returning in star places, providing that experience and being able to really get to know each other and what they have to fix to be highly competitive in the fall, in the spring. Like, there's details that they can work out months ahead of time versus, finally recognizing them in October or November and it being a little bit too late to kind of rectify it. So, time is definitely on the side of North Carolina for this year.
Well, the offense has some guys that they have to replace as well. Some extremely talented running backs in Javonte Williams and Michael Carter, who combined for one of the greatest seasons in Tar Heel history when it came to the running back position. And then, of course, De'Ami Brown and Daz Newsome at wide receiver. When you look at those two position groups, it feels like there is a lot of confidence around people, around the program, and as well as the fan base, is that those guys can be replaced. Is that the sense that you get from the coaching staff and the players as they enter spring camp?
Yeah, I feel like replace is a little harsh, I guess, in a sense that you never want to think of players who were that dominant and they're able to elevate it as possible, and I think they can. You have to believe in your incoming talent. You have to believe in the depth that you created in those positions, and you have to believe in those players. You don't ever want to make your players feel lack or feel like they're not capable of stepping into some really heavy shoes in the days that you mentioned. So I believe that they can, and I think that the confidence that they have in this team is super evident in making sure that those positions are good to go this season.
So the last thing that I'll ask you here, as we're in this first week of spring camp, this is going to be a journey for Carolina, but it seems like they are up to the expectations. When you look at this schedule that Carolina has lying ahead, and we sit here in the spring, do you think that this is a team that, on paper, right now, and from what you've heard from everything so far, do you think that this is a team that can finish the season where they're expected to start, which is inside the top 10?
I do, and maybe I'm a little biased, but I really do. I think when you have a coach like Matt Brown who fully gives everything into his team, you have coaches that are bought in, and then you have this really a healthy mixture of young and old with his team, and they're all bought in. They're all bought in for the competition. There is no egos. They're very much a family. They communicate very well, and just seeing some of the players just a couple of days ago, even today, you see how much they enjoy each other and how much they all want to do well. And I think that's very important to a team. So I think with that and with Sam Howell at the reins, I think the limit is the sky for this team. And I'm excited to see what they do with all the talent that they produce.
All right, so that is Quierra Luck. Make sure that you guys are following her on social media and checking her out on sportsillustrated.com, si.com. Just look for the UNC page. She's got you there. And where can they follow you on social media, Quierra?
Yeah, you can follow me. My name at QUIERRALUCK on all social media platforms. I'll be happy to have you. I talk to everybody, which my mom thinks I'm going to get kidnapped for one day. She's like, you're just too easy to talk to. So please come talk to me. Let's talk Carolina. Let's talk ACC or talk, the office. So I am more than happy to engage with anyone.
Yeah, so glad to have you on the podcast. You and your sister, just a dynamic duo when it comes to covering sports here in the state of North Carolina. So glad that we could have you stop by, and appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing there, and we look forward to reading some more of your stuff and potentially having you on down the line with us, okay?
Thank you, Anthony, so much.
All right, thank you. All right, so that is Quierra Luck of Sports Illustrated, covers the Tar Heels for them on the individual website for the Tar Heels. Make sure that you guys go and check that out again, si.com. Just search for the UNC page, and you will be able to find all of her coverage. And, that's pretty much, I listened to the press conferences, listened to them in depth the other day. There seems to be a lot of excitement around this team. We're going to have you covered on all fronts with it. HeelToughBlog.com. Make sure that you guys are checking all of that stuff out. Of course, we have some really great articles up there for you guys. We got some ones that we use to preview spring practice, but are still relevant here in the first couple of days of spring practice. And really, as we go throughout the first few practices here in the first couple of weeks before they head down the home stretch and get prepared for that spring game, we have the best position battles to keep an eye on during spring camp, as well as a look at the top players to keep an eye on during spring camp. Also, some stuff going up on the website here in the near future. We got a preview of the upcoming decision, I should say, of Jalen Walker. Make sure that you guys check that out. He's a big-time in-state prospect in the 2022 class. We're going to have you covered on his front as he gets ready to make his decision, find out if Carolina is the spot that we expect him to go, as well as an article that is already up there on the website that you guys can read. Ray Rose, the wide receiver, he did enter the transfer portal after just 1 year at Carolina, so read about his decision to transfer and what it means for Carolina going forward at the wide receiver position. So make sure that you guys check that out. Again, HeelToughBlog.com. Great stuff up there basketball-wise as well with Walker Kessler, Day'Ron Sharp, both taking their paths out of Chapel Hill. And some baseball stuff up there as well. We didn't get an article up this week because everything was a little bit hectic. Got a new job as well, so the schedule is a little bit different, but we are going to get something up on the website over this weekend where we'll go over the last 2 weeks in Carolina baseball and give you an update on that. Also, make sure that you guys check out the podcast. Again, there's so many different ways that you can check it out. Facebook, one of the great ways that you can check it out. That's another way to be able to see all the articles, all the podcasts, everything in one place. Like and follow that Facebook page for us. We'd really appreciate it. And then when it comes to the podcast, make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts, including the Heel Tough Vlog podcast and the Roy's Boys podcast. Again, rating and reviewing helps us move up some of those rankings so that people that haven't found us just yet can track us down. The other big thing that it does is it gives us some constructive criticism so that we know how to improve ourselves better. We don't have the game tape. We do go back and listen to our podcast, but we can't see, or we may not hear certain things that you guys want added to the podcast, want things to be a little bit better. So we always love that constructive criticism for you guys, so make sure you leave that comment for us. And then the subscribe, that's for you, so that whenever you subscribe and there's a new edition of the podcast, it will go right into your podcast library so you can play the latest edition of the Heel Tough Vlog podcast. So, once again, want to thank Quierra Luck for stopping by with us. Want to thank you guys for watching and listening. And as always, go Tar Heels!